Picture waking up tomorrow and finding every comment thread erased, every performance review deleted, and every Instagram like turned to dust. The only voice left to grade your efforts is the one inside your skull. Would you pass or fail under those conditions? The truth is, you already live in that universe. No matter how much noise crowds your day, your final verdict is self-issued. Today, we dismantle society's opinion economy and reveal why declaring good job or do better is an inside job, because you were born a party of one and you'll check out the same way. Welcome to Spark and Hustle, the podcast where ambitious women and men weld relentless drive to gentle self-respect. I'm Puneet, and your guide through self-mastery. We live in a world hyper-indexed on external validation. Our phones buzz with dopamine crumbs, likes, shares, promotions, pay raises, and somewhere along the climb, we outsource our sense of sufficiency to algorithms, managers, and even strangers in comment sections. But here's a sobering meditation. You entered this planet utterly alone, no applause, no critique, just the cries of a newborn, and you'll exit the same solitary vessel. The bookends of life are one-person shows. Everything in the middle is a noisy intermission. If the curtain closed tomorrow, could you stand behind your last line, your last project, your last day's effort? In this deep dive, we'll explore the psychology of self-appraisal, the pitfalls of external scoreboards, and a 5-part S.O.L.E. soul framework that installs an unhackable internal rating system. You'll leave with daily rituals, quarterly audits, and a 90-day challenge designed to make your opinion the loudest in your head. Grab a journal or your OneNote or your notepad in your phone. Let's decouple worth from applause once and for all. History is peppered with geniuses dismissed by the crowd. Van Gogh died almost penniless, selling a single painting in his lifetime. Rosa Parks was arrested for civil disobedience before becoming a civil rights icon. In tech, Brian Chesky was laughed out of early investor rooms when pitching the idea of strangers sleeping in one another's homes. Airbnb is now valued in the tens of billions. What do these examples prove? Consensus is a lagging indicator. The crowd's verdict often arrives decades late. If greatness hinged on instant approval, humanity would stagnate at mediocrity. External applause is fickle currency, acceptable only when you already possess intrinsic wealth. Psychology backs this up. The 2023 Harvard study of adult development discovered that people who chased praise over personal standards reported 27% lower life satisfaction and 33% higher burnout scores. Neuroscientist Anna Lemke notes that social validation triggers a fast dopamine hit followed by a steeper crash, creating a dependency cycle akin to sugar highs. Bottom lines, when you peg your worth to crowd reaction, you strap yourself a roller coaster you don't control. Break the chain by becoming sole judge, jury, and the cheer squad. Let's zoom inside the skull. The medical prefrontal cortex lights up during self-referential processing. It's your brain's executive suite for story construction. Who am I? Did I do well? The prefrontal cortex, the medial prefrontal cortex, crosstalks with the ventral striatum, home of dopamine rewards. When you internally decide good job, dopamine flows, reinforcing the behavior. External praise can also spark dopamine, but it's with a caveat. The nucleus accumbens quickly habituates to outside hits, demanding larger doses, more likes, bigger bonuses to maintain the same sparkle. You see the problem there? You want it more often, you want more praise, and it just becomes an insatiable need. Stanford's 2024 self-reward study found participants who practiced nightly self-validation, writing down 3 self-proud moments, showed a 12% rise in baseline dopamine over 8 weeks, compared to no significant change in the control group who only logged compliments received. Self-generated praise is sustainable neurochemistry. Crowd-sourced praise is a lease agreement with hefty renewals. Remember, your brain is listening to you more than to anyone else. Train it to crave your own kudos. Let's talk about our S.O.L.E framework. S is for set standards, not goals. Goals have end dates. Standards define identity. A standard might be, I deliver drafts on deadline. There's no finish line. It's a perpetual bar you clear daily. Dropping standards hurt more than missing goals because it chips identity. The O, which is own the rubric. Design scorecards that measure what you deem important. Effort quality, learning moments, kindness index. Borrow external metrics sparingly. Revenue, audience growth, but make the interpretation through your lens. L is for log daily verdicts. End evenings with 2-question audit. What did I promise and did I honor it? Grade on pass-fail scale. Clarity beats nuance. Over time, streaks fuel pride more than sporadic applause. E is for evaluate your empathy. Soul judging isn't self-flogging. Use compassionate objectivity. Critique behavior, not your worth. If you missed a workout, diagnose the system. Sleep, calendar, cues, not your character. You're just not lazy because you didn't work out. You just didn't plan the workout well into your day. So attack the behavior, not yourself. Apply S.O.L.E across domains. Fitness standard could be something like, I will move 30 minutes daily, 10 minutes daily. Something called exercise snacks. Could you just do 10 push-ups when you get a moment during the day and do 100 push-ups a day? Or you could just decide the intensity score. That could be a rubric. So verdict is pass or fail. Did I do it or not? And empathy is a just plan on injury, right? You can't do the same thing if you're injured or tired or traveling. Business standard equals ship weekly, right? What is a rubric? The depth, the utility. Verdict, did we do it or not do it? Empathy account for child's sick day. Relationships standard equals 1 genuine connection touch daily. Rubric, the present score. Verdict, did or didn't. Empathy is retry tomorrow. So just giving you some basic framework. I know you'll all figure it out and apply it in your own systems, your life, your daily rituals. Now, talking about daily practices for internal validation, I'm going to share some that I've heard from friends that work for them, or there's a couple that I actually enjoy doing myself. The first one is mirror high five. The person who popularized it is Mel Robbins. It says it's also derived from science. The physical gesture links visual self with reward circuitry. Give yourself a literal high five each morning. Cheesy, but catalytic. Success jar. Drop a sticky note for each micro win. On tough days, read 10 at random. It's self-endorsement binge. Solo performance reviews. This is me. This is what I do for sure. Quarterly, spend an hour rating yourself, your rubric, before any manager does. Walk into official reviews owning your narrative. Post-game tips. Like athletes reviewing footage, record short audio reflections after key events. Your own voice coaching future you is potent reinforcement. Digital detox windows. This is another good one that I've been trying to practice, which is schedule no social intervals to starve the validation addiction and amplify internal signals. Now, here's a few case studies for fun. One is Michael Jordan. He notoriously manufactured personal challenges to outperform his own prior games. Because when you're Jordan, who are you really competing with? Only yourself. Teammates' praise was background noise. Maya Angelou, she wrote in isolated hotel rooms, reading her work aloud to gauge musicality. Editors were secondary. Steve Wozniak built the first Apple computer alone in his apartment, rating designs by his aesthetic long before market applause. One of my listeners, we'll call her Priya, adopted the S.O.L.E rubric within 6 months. She has a different confidence about her. It didn't dip when people did not give her the applause. So this is where you give yourself an A+ before you wait for anybody else to give it to you. Here's the challenge, the 90-day S.O.L.E Judge Challenge. Week 1 to 2, craft standards for 3 domains. Okay? It could be something like professional, spiritual, and health. And then you draft a rubric with 3 to 5 metrics each, right? So don't make it complicated. It needs to be simple. Week 3 to 6, log daily verdicts. Aim for 80% pass in each category. Introduce mirror high five ritual. Conduct first solo performance review, week 7 to 10. Adjust rubric based on insight, right? If you said, I'm going to do 10 push-ups 10 times a day, and you've been able to do 20 5 times a day, now you can change your measure of frequency. Now, week 11 to 13, present external milestones, boss report, social post, but make sense of those outcomes through your scorecard first. Celebrate with a self-awarded trophy, physical object symbolizing internal sovereignty. This feels super shallow, super weird, but once you do it, you're going to appreciate yourself for doing so. So our goal is to build an unshakable identity, right? Identity cements behavior. Psychiatrist Viktor Frankl observed prisoners in World War II camps who retained a self-defined purpose survived the longer. This, if you haven't read his book, highly, highly, highly recommend it. It just puts life in perspective and it makes you so much more introspective. So when your identity is, I am my own judge, criticism and applause alike lose power. Very stoic philosophy. If you get the applause, stays the same. If you do not get applause, you get criticism, stay the same. Craft an identity statement. I am sovereign creator who grades her work, his work by his or her standards. Tattoo it metaphorically on your psyche. Repeat during meditation, workouts, stressful calls, bad days, good days, until it's automatic. Here's a book recommendation. The 6 Pillars of Self-Esteem by Nathaniel Branden. Systematic Practices for Self-Approval. Another one I really enjoyed reading was Indistractable by Nir Eyal. Reclaim attention from validation loops. Another one is, of course, the S.O.L.E that we discussed, the tool that was going to help us measure our success and set intentional self-validation. Of course, we need that high five to ourselves every day in the mirror. When the theater lights dim on your final scene, the house will be silent. The only applause will be the echo of your own verdict. Practice now, tonight, tomorrow morning, afternoon, depending on which time zone you are. Give yourself a score. Then you outscore the next day, where you focused more on self-validation than external validation. Screenshot this episode, tag me with one rubric metric, and declare I am sole judge. Stay bold, stay soft, and keep grading upward on your terms.